Hello there, and welcome to the Evening Math by Audrey Codner. So one of the things, this is basically for a person that is trying to get their GED or any kind of high school equivalency program, trying to score well on the ASVAT, as well as raise their score on the ACCUPLACER. And they just really want to build up encouragement because years and years of math anxiety, and let's put it real, trauma that you have experienced for the longest time, because now when you see math, you freak out. You see a fraction, freak out. Word problems, oh my God, freak out. So now we really want to hold on true to what we got to do, because now we got to take this test. And for us to do whatever we want for that next step, we got to get past this obstacle. So what I do here is I break those concepts down. Build your math confidence up so you'll be able to step into that test, take the exam with confidence, and raise that score. So a lot of us, the main problem is dealing with our foundation. So the best way that I describe it is using like an analog, like a tree. So if you take a look, this is what I like to say. Here's the grass, here's our tree, here's the roots. The roots of the tree, depending on how strong or where the tree was planted, are you enriched with soil? Are you given a lot of information? Some people love to be able to break those concepts down for you. And what happens is now your ability to do basic math is strong. The stronger your skill set, the stronger your tree's going to bring. But here's my thing. You're still going to grow roots regardless of your atmosphere. If your atmosphere is toxic, if your atmosphere is like people just really want to ignore you and you're just basically grabbing as much nutrients, whatever comes around, you're still going to grow roots, but the trunk of your tree is not going to be as strong. So I got to say, you're adding, you're subtracting, you're multiplying, you're dividing, dealing with fractions, dealing with percents, dealing with decimals. Those are the foundations of all mathematics. By having a strong foundation in those areas, now you can carry it on into algebra, which is the trunk of your tree. So knowing that this is the foundation to many other branches of math, like geometry, pre-calculus, calculus, trigonometry, statistics. The way that you deal with your foundational skills will reflect on how you're going to do with algebra, and that's going to reflect how you do well with those advanced. So eventually your tree is going to grow fruit, and that fruit you're going to be able to excel. So that's why I kind of like to work on it. So especially for people that haven't been in school for a long time, this is the reason why I'm on here. And you're probably saying, well, who are you? Well, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the owner of Math by Audrey, as well as ACG Math Tutoring. I was a classroom teacher for like 22 years, and the last 6 years I decided, you know what? I'm going to be an online tutor. Many people said, you're not going to make any money, you're not going to survive after a couple of years. Just finished year 6. Booyah. Doesn't it feel good when you try to make somebody feel wrong? Yeah, and you're going to do the same thing when you pass that test. So what I like to do here is to break down some of the algebraic components that you're going to see on those assessments. And then I want to see what you can do so we can tweak your thinking. You're probably thinking, oh, I'm not good at math, I'm terrible at math, I suck. No, you don't. You just need someone to break these concepts down. That's all it is. All right, so let's take a look at our first problem. As soon as my computer acts crazy. All right. So here is our first problem. Let me clear this up a little bit. It's going to get really blurry. And then hopefully it'll get nice and clear for us. There we go. So a map scale is 1 inch equals 20 miles. How many inches represent 150 miles? So we have all 4 answer choices. And this problem I actually have direct from one of my books that I wrote. So this is going to help you with GED, ASVAT, the basics of t-test, and also a basic question for the ACCUPLACER. Now, looking at this, how do you feel about this problem? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like, okay, I have no idea where to start? Put it in the chat and tell me how exactly you feel about this problem. Okay? Okay, so Momo, welcome back, Momo. I see you. Okay, Anti-Hero, welcome back. I see you as well. Okay, hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Max. Hey, Lisa, the nurse. KBA, how are you? Give a little bit of a wave to you. Okay, so Melly, you saying, I feel like this is easy, but that's just me. You never know. Okay, so you're saying like there's going to be division. All right, so let's see. Did I skip anybody else? Okay, I need you as my teacher. Thank you, Anti. All right, everyone. So let's take a gander. So they're telling us some scale factoring. So when we have our 1 inch, it's equal to 20 miles. What you're basically creating is called a proportion. So because they want to know what's equivalent to this ratio. So they want to know how many inches. So since we don't know, always go to the question. So we don't know how many inches because that's what we're trying to find. So I'm going to use the variable x to represent that. So how many inches is equivalent to 150 miles? So we can answer this one of two ways. Let me see if I can clear this up a little bit. There we go. We can answer this one of two ways. We could use our answer choices. So now, if I say 10, that means 1 times 10 will give me this 10. And then that means I have to do 20 times 10 to get me 150. But here's the thing. 20 times 10 gives me 200. That's way more what we're looking for. So I know that answer choice D is out. So we're going to do process of elimination. There you go. Yep, you can do that as well, Rome. There's so many different ways of doing it. So now we need to figure out what is the pattern to go from 20 to 150. Now, here's the thing. If you do that, you can do what's called the inverse, which is division. But instead of dealing with large numbers, they both end in 0. So what you could do is cancel out the zeros. So now you're looking at as simple terms, which is 15 divided by 2. So I know if I have $15 and I want to divide it by 2, that's looking at $7.50. So that means in order for me to go from 20 miles to 150 miles, I need to multiply 20 by 7.5. So how many inches is going to be? 7.5. So you can do it that way, okay? You can do it that way. Or you can do what's called cross multiplication, okay? So you pick which way that you want to do it. There's multiple ways of finding the same exact thing. So if I were to cross multiply, I can multiply 20 times x, and that will give me 20x. If I multiply 1 and 150, anything times 1 is itself. So we would get 150. So from here, I want to solve for x. So 20 times x. If you don't see a plus or minus sign in between the number and the variable, that means this expression right here is multiplying. In order for us to solve, we have to do its inverse, which is simply division. So 20 divided by 20, that gives me 1. And since I have an x that comes down, 1x and x means the same exact thing. So now, if you notice, you got your 150 divided by 20. Hey, that looks very similar to what we got here. So again, since both of them are ending with 0, the zeros are gone. Simplify it so it'll be a little bit easier for you to see, because there's going to be, especially if you're doing the ASVAB and the ACCUPLACER, you're not allowed to use a calculator. Some parts of the GED you can, and they'll put an a digital calculator into the system. Okay, so this is why. So now 15 divided by 2, that means how many 2's can go into 15? 7 without going over. That gives me 14. All right. So for those that needs the long division, I got you. So that means we have our 7. What's left over? Then we put our decimal with the 0. Bring that 0 down. Bring this decimal up. And then you have our 5. Okay. So either way that you want to do it, you're going to get the same answer. You're going through it. I get you, OG. It's okay. Right? But we just have to take these things step by step. And that's the hard thing about when you're taking summer classes, especially if you're taking it at the college level. A lot of the professors are really going to be going quickly. Okay, so it's really hard. Let's see if I can get a little bit of light in here. It's really hard for us to kind of get everything that we need because you're learning like 4 or 5 concepts at a time. So that's why I decided to create a book, and it's called Algebra at Your Pace. So you're learning a lot of the basic concepts as you build yourself up to get you ready for the GED, the ASVAB, the TEAS, the HESI, ACCUPLACER tests. So it's not just a workbook. It actually shows you step by step, and I give you some notes on it. Okay, so I can talk about this a little bit later, and it also gives you some extra practice problems. Okay, questions on the mapping. Okay, questions on the mapping. How did you pass Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 though? That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe your teachers passed you. I don't know. I don't know what you do all the time, David. I am not your creator. Okay? So now let's take it from another perspective. So as we go through this, we have some things called simplification. If you simplify this, what would you get for an answer? Okay. Go ahead and try to simplify it. What would you get for an answer? Okay, thank you for the follow, guys. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate it. Thank you for taking time away from your schedule. Okay, so Maggie, I see you. Thank you so much. Okay. So for those that are coming in, you're probably like, what are we doing? All we're doing is simplifying this expression. Okay, Mija. Hey, Mija, how are you? Geese, how are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. Okay, you're saying 37. My person, which I can't see, is saying 37. Valor saying 37. Okay. D1, I see you. D1 trickster. Root beer, I see you. Okay. Yep, that's all right. I see you. All right. Thanks for the follow, Julie. Okay. Meech, I see you. Hey, Big Al. Are you still at work? Brim, I see you. Steam, hello. How are you? Welcome back. Okay. Yup. We got our PEMDAS. Bill, I see you. Pretty MF, I see you. Caitlin, I see you. All right. Lizzie, I see you. Aunt, okay. Go ahead, finish it out if you think. It's niche on your way home. All right. Make sure you drive safe. Okay. O'Kelly, I see you. All right. Carabin thing. You think it's their answer to that? All right. Thank you. I see you. And Bill, I see you. All right, Joey, I see you. So let's break this down because I saw two different answers, almost three. I saw a 37, I saw zeros, I saw a 27. Okay, so I'm seeing a whole bunch of things. People are seeing a little bit of the errors and they're trying to correct, which is perfectly fine. So you guys are correct in saying the first thing we need to deal with is PEMDAS. And make sure you do it from left to right. That is crucial. Okay, so you have your parentheses, your exponents, multiplication or division, depending from left to right, as well as addition or subtraction, depending from left to right. So, parentheses, we got to rock what's inside this parenthesis. So the first thing, I'm going to bring down my 7 squared plus 3 minus, and what's going on inside this parenthesis? We have 5 plus 10, that gives us 15. Okay, so parenthesis is done. Next step is the exponent. This is the part that gets a lot of people. This is 7 squared. Now 7 squared is basically saying 7 times 7, not 7 times 2. Notice they're not the same shape, okay? They're not the same size. So the main responsibility for this 2, which is your exponent, is to tell the base how many times it's going to multiply itself. So 7 times 7, that gives me 49. Then we bring down the plus 3, and we bring down the minus 15. Okay? So now we need to go. We have all the exponents, boom, done. Multiplying, we're dividing, we don't have any. So now addition or subtraction from left to right. So that means we have our 49 plus 3 happening. So that will be our 52. Then we bring down our minus 15. So if anything, all this craziness that's going on top, don't worry about it. Focus on each step at a time. There we go. All right. So we have our 52 minus 15. So we're almost at the tail end. So we're borrowing from the 5, adding to the 12. So that makes that a 4. 4 minus 1 gives us 3. And 12 minus 5 gives us 7. So do we see now that our answer is 37? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, D1. Appreciate it. Okay. So for all others that were giving me zeros and everything else, I have a feeling one of them is you made this 7 squared into a 14. Okay. I don't know how we got a 0 out of that, but some people put like maybe a 14. 14 plus 3 gives me 17 because I did see a couple 2's in there. So 17 minus 15, that would give me a 2, but that's 7 squared. Yep, okay. All right. So this is why you want to take your time with it. Okay, take your time. The way that you practice gives out the same result that you put into the test. So I know a lot of us is like, oh, I just need practice. I just need practice. But practice how? You need the instruction piece. How do you know when it's square? Especially when you have the 2 that's here, it's smaller than the base. This whole thing right here is called a power. So when you have a small number that's in the degree area, that's an exponent. That's how you can tell. Now, if it was the same size, it will probably look like this. So 7 times 2. This will give you the 14. This will give you the 49. Okay, do you see it, Melvin? Okay, thank you. All right, so let's do another situation. So that was simplifying. Trying to save paper as much as I can. Now we have this one called evaluating. You're so welcome, Melvin. You can't believe you still remember Caitlin? I know. Okay, it's like a rash, it don't go away. All right, so this time I want you to evaluate. Okay, I want you to evaluate. What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? What do you think? Put in the chat. What do you think with this particular problem? What are you going to do to evaluate? Okay. All right. I see you, Bill. I see you, Anti. Okay. Jerry's saying plug it in. Okay. Okay. Replace the letters with the numbers. Plug it in. There we go. Right? So we're plugging in information. Yes. Nikita, I see you. Plug it in. So all you're doing is following the direction. That's all it is. So you're plugging something into your expression right here. The reason why I call it as an expression, because there's no equal sign. So now, what do you think? So we have our 4. Let's see if I put it over here. Our 4 parenthesis. We got a minus 2 something times something parenthesis all over something plus something. Felt like a Family Guy episode right there. Something, 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 dog, something. So, we're plugging in for the x. Anytime we see an x, we're going to put a 4. So a 4 is going here, and a 4 is going here. Every time we see a y, we're going to plug in a -2. So a -2 here, and a -2 here. Okay. All right, so I'm getting different answers. So that tells me that this is something that we need to do. So the way that we're going to tackle it, I'm looking at the denominator. It's a little bit easier to adjust. We have a +4 plus a -2. Do you hear how I'm explaining it? +4 plus a -2. Think of money. I have $4. I spent $2. That means I have $2 left, which is a good thing. So it's going to be a +$2 or a +2. That's your denominator. Okay, are we good? So now let's work on the numerator. So numerator, we have a couple things going on. We have multiplication and we have inside multiplication and subtraction, or possibly addition. So we have to do our PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. So that means inside the parenthesis. Well, inside the parenthesis, we have this 4 minus 2 times -2. Well, we're not going to do subtraction before we do multiplication because that's the order. Addition and subtraction doesn't come before multiplication or division, it comes after, right? So that means we're going to be combining these two things first. So listen to how I explain it. -2 times -2. Why am I saying this is a -2? Because this minus sign is acting as a negative for the 2, not the 4. Okay? So negative times negative gives me positive, and 2 times 2 gives me 4. Everything else comes on down. Okay. Now, there we go, polished banana. Thank you. So here we are. 4 plus 4. We're still inside the parenthesis. We need to combine these before we do anything with this 4. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can distribute. But you still got a parenthesis. And they're capable. They're like terms that we can combine. If this was a 4x, yes, distributive property. But it's not. So that means inside this parenthesis, we have 4 plus 4. That gives me 8. And then we bring down this 4. Right, okay, there you go. So that means 4 times 8, because we took care of the parenthesis, we didn't have any exponents. Now we can do the multiplication, which gives us 32. So this is what's replacing our numerator. Okay, are we good now? Oh, from the beginning, could you do the distributive property? Of course you can. Yep. All right. So now we got 32 divided by 2. So how many 2's can go into 3? That's 1. 3 minus 2 gives me 1, brings down my remainder of 2. How many 2's can go into 12? That's 6. Okay. So now our answer for this will be 16. Okay. See, you're not horrible at math. You just need to take your time. Now, I don't know when people are coming in because, oh gee, what's throwing you? What hit you wrong? What kind of threw you off? Was it from the very beginning or was it the numerator? Okay, talk to me. There's no problem, shortcake. The parentheses, okay. From all the way up here? Or was it this part here? Yes, okay. All right. So, first off, when you look inside the parentheses, let me cover this. We're focusing all on that 4 minus 2 times negative 2. So, because you're multiplying this negative 2 to this negative 2, we have to do the multiplication first. Let me highlight. So this part right here. Okay? So, understanding the rule. Negative times a negative is a positive. That's why we're putting a plus here. And then 2 times 2 gives me 4. Let me stop right there. Did you get that part? Great practice. Okay, Dylan, I got you. Okay, OG, talk to me. Okay, for people who are joining, thank you so much. What we're doing is breaking down concepts that we generally see in the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, the TEAS test, and even for Algebra 1. So if you have a child that just graduated 8th grade and they're going into high school Algebra 1, this is be a great refresher for you. Okay, something that they need to do to keep their brain active and get ready. Because the way that classes are being taught nowadays, it's all about speed. And I hate it. Okay, OG, you still with it? All right. Do you know that negative times a negative gives you a positive? Okay. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. Yes. Okay. Do you know that 2 times 2 gives me 4? Yes, exactly. We got to take it step by step. Okay, so now we're going to take this 4 that was out here and we're going to bring it on down. Okay, so once we do this, we ignore that. Okay, and this other 4 that was out here. I know it looks confusing because there's so many 4s. Okay, so now inside this parenthesis, 4 plus 4 equals what, OG? Okay. 4 plus 4 equals what? There we go. So we got our 8, and that stays inside the parenthesis because parentheses means multiplication. So from here on in, people, especially if you're going into high school math, the x no longer exists. Parentheses means multiplication. Okay? You're either going to see it like this, 4 times 8, or you're going to see it like this, 4 with a dot 8, okay, to represent multiplication. X no longer represent multiplication. That's why when people say 4x8, and I'm like, why do you have a variable in the middle? So this is where the 32 came from. 4 times 8 gave us our 32. Okay, you're good, OG? Yes, there you go. So that's where the 32, because since we did all that work for the numerator, that was our answer for the numerator. So since we had our answer from the denominator, we are basically, a fraction is nothing but division. So we had to divide 32 and 2. That's where we got the 16 from. Okay. How are we feeling? Feeling better? About the same? Okay, there we go. Yep, it's just going to take step by step. Okay, that's all it is. It's going to take practice, but now that you have a little bit of instruction to it, that's going to help out tremendously. Okay? Show the original equation. We didn't have an equation. Do you mean the original expression? And can we say please and thank you? All right. That's where I was stuck at school today. Okay. Yep. So we're taking things, we're taking those processes and those step-by-steps. Okay. Thank you, Math Student 2. Appreciate you. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of solving. Okay. So we did simplifying. We're going to be doing evaluating. Okay. So now we're going to do solving. When you see this, tell me how you feel. Be honest with me. Tell me how you feel. Okay. Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel good? Okay. OG, feel lost. I got you. Okay. We're going to take a breath. Okay. Befuddled? Yes. Okay. Big Al, you feeling good? All right. Are you home yet? You better not be driving. Okay. You have to get rid of an X. Okay. Angel, you feeling frustrated? Okay. We're going to take it step by step. All right. Step by step. All right. So, Tony, I see you. Okay, good. All right. So, you graduated in 2006. I'm afraid of the negative numbers, and when subtraction becomes addition. Okay. So, anytime you have minus and negative, it always turns positive, regardless if you're doing expression or if you're doing an equation. So I'm going to rewrite this so we can get it. So I'm going to be in your way for a moment. 2x minus 1 equals negative 10. X minus 5. All right, because I really want to give us some room. So this is our original equation here. So just like anything else that we do, let's work on one side of the equal sign at a time. I want to work on the left-hand side. So I'm going to cover up the right-hand side. So just like I said with the other one, we don't have, and they did not give us anything to substitute for the x. So our goal for this is to solve, to find what is the number that we will substitute for x to make this whole equation equal, to make it into a true statement. So this time, 2x and minus 1, they're not like terms. So we can't combine these two. But what we're going to have to do is what's called the distributive property. So we're going to take this 4 and multiply it to everything inside of that parenthesis. All right, the distributive property. So we have 4 times 2x. That gives me 8x. Then we have 4 times negative 1. When the signs are opposite, your answer is always going to be negative through the process of multiplication. Okay? The thing that a lot of people get wrong is they remember to distribute for the first term and get the 8x, but then they just bring down the 1. We're not doing that. You need to multiply the 4 with the negative 1 to get your negative 4. Okay? How are we feeling? Okay, taking it step by step. If this is too slow, I appreciate you coming, but I really want to work on the people that are basically traumatized with math so we can actually be able to excel and advance to our next step and to feel confident with it. Okay, we don't have to love it. Okay, you don't have to marry it. Just at least understand it. Okay, so I appreciate you coming. All right, trying to remember. All right. So now we were, but here's the thing, Sam. Now we're doing solving. So we did the distributive property on one side. Now we need to do the distributive property on the other side. So we're going to take this negative 10 and distribute to everything inside the parenthesis. So negative 10 times x, that gives me a negative 10x. And a negative times a negative. Do you hear how I'm saying it? It's not negative 10 times minus 5. This negative is acting as, this minus sign is acting as a negative for the 5. So a negative times a negative will give me positive. And then 10 times 5 gives me 50. All right. Okay, thank you. How are we doing? Okay, Mike, I see you. A couple of you guys, I saw you earlier. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Okay. You're right on time. Okay. All right. So now, everything that we did up here originally, I can cover. And the reason why I cover, because someone asked me earlier today, the reason why I cover is you're telling your brain, focus on this. Okay, we're so used to trying to focus on so many things at once, and you wonder why we jumble things up. Okay, the memory's working. There we go. Because then you have to combine and solve. Right. So this is what we're going to do next. We need for our x's to be on one side of the equal sign, and it really doesn't matter if you want it to the left or to the right. You're going to end up with the same answer. But if you want to keep it to the left, we can do that since we naturally read from left to right. So that means this negative 10x, I need to move to the other side so it can join with the 8x. But I can't just write negative 10x. In order for me to go from one side of the equal sign to the other, I have to do what's called the inverse, the opposite. There you go, Mike. So the opposite of a minus or a negative 10 is going to be a positive 10. And don't forget about the variable. Okay. So when you do the opposite here, what happens, it cancels out, including the x. So you get a 0, but you don't have to write the 0 because you still have this plus 50 that's left on that side of the equal sign. Okay? Nope, we're not going to divide yet. Not going to divide yet. We have to put all our variables over first. So if my x's are going to be over here, I can combine this. 8 plus 10, that gives me 18x. But I still have this minus 4 here. I just want my x's to be here. So what am I going to do with this minus 4? What made me cancel it out? Because I don't want to have two x's on both sides of the equal sign, just on one side. Okay. Thank you, Bill. All right, Bill's saying add 4. Do we agree? Okay, Star is saying 50 minus 4. Okay, Deb's saying minus 4 on both sides. Okay, Ray is saying add it. Okay, bring the negative 4 down. We can do that. We can bring it down. Even if I bring it down, I still need for it to go somewhere, don't I? So now I have this 18x minus 4 equals 50. But what do I do with the 4? Math student number 2, no. Negative times a positive is a negative, and that'll be a negative 100. You're thinking of addition. We're going to add the 4. We're not going to add the 50, because if I bring the 50, first of all, it's a positive 50. So I wouldn't add the 50, I would be subtracting. But then if I bring the 50 over here, there's nothing over there. It's just like lifting weights. You can't just lift weights from the top part of your body and have little sticks for legs. No, you need to work out the legs. Do a leg day, people. Don't be afraid of it. Okay, we got to even things out. So in order for you to even things out, I need to add this 4. Everything needs to be balanced. So when I add the 4, because it's the inverse of negative 4. Okay, there we go. So now we have 18x is equal to 54. Okay, in order for you to move from one side of the equal sign to the other, you need to do its inverse. Okay, thank you, Chris. There we go. So now let's focus on the 18x is equal to 54. So 18x, if there's no plus or minus sign in between the 18 and the x, so that means this expression is representing multiplication. Now we divide, Ray. Yes. Okay, the inverse of multiplication is division. So 18 divided by 18, that will give me 1x or just x. Guys, even if you put a 1 here, you don't have to divide both sides by 1 because anything divisible by 1 is going to be itself. But now we need to figure out how many 18s can go into 54. And a lot of you guys told me correctly. It is 3. Okay? 8 times 3 gives me 24. Carry the 2, bring down the 4. And then 1 times 3 is 3 plus the 2 gives us our 5. Okay? Okay? All right. So we're taking it all step by step. Okay? Yes, I know there's going to be a time crunch when you're taking these assessments. Any kind of standardized assessment, it is a little hairy scary because you have to do things rather quickly. Now I'm going to tell you right now, ASVAB, for those that are thinking about going to the military, you have to take this exam and you're given 1 minute per question. There's going to be some questions that you can get right away. Perfectly fine. GED, they're giving you basically 1 minute and 10 seconds per question. The reason why I know this, because I used to teach the course. So this is why there's going to be some questions you're going to know right off the bat. You're going to be like, oh, wait, my answer should be negative because I know that a negative times a positive is negative. And then you can look at your answer choices to figure out which one is going to work for you. All right? Okay? So these are the little things that you have to think of, taking it step by step. And you're like, man, I wish we can do more problems like this, or wish we can do more problems like the other ones. Well, this is why I do what's called Algebra at Your Pace. Okay, this is why I have this book. Now, it's a whole 10-book series. And what I do is I take out from the very beginning. So the first ones that I do is the types of numbers. They always ask you a question on the types of numbers. When you scan the QR code, you are going to get a step-by-step video of me working out problems, giving you some practice problems, and then I'm giving you some extra practice problems for you to work on. Okay, the same thing is going to happen for adding integers, subtracting integers, and then you get some practice problems. That's going to be closely related to what you see in the assessment. Okay, this is why I do this, multiplying, dividing the integers. Then you have positive and negative fractions, decimals, okay, exponents, looking at the rules of it, the square roots, all of that's listed. And then plus, I finish it out with a quiz. So every book, you're going to have some kind of summative quiz to see, do you really understand? Or there might be another section you might want to re-watch again. Now, unlike most notebooks, I give you resources. Hey, this looks familiar. The rules for integers. Not only what the rule is, but also an example of it. We're looking at addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You need that in Sweden? Hey, I got you. Because you can actually get it today. So then you have your decimal operation, you have your fraction operation, you have your order of operation. This is, hey, this looks familiar for the US, but also for my international students, your BODMAS, okay, your brackets, your other, your division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. We have the properties of exponents, okay, your factors. So then when you get into word problems, you got those words. And then I like to give you some extra practice with exponents. So say, for example, I just took mine, made them into little cards. And what happens is this side is the question side. This side is the answer side. And you have about, I think, 7 pages. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages. So you have 6 pages of those that you can actually take, right? Now, where can you go to purchase them? Well, if you go to my profile, okay, because usually it does something funky. I knew it was going to do something funky. All right. So if you go to my profile, Math by Audrey, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. There is one link that I have. It's my stand store. And you can sit and just take a look at it. Sorry, it's a little bright in here. There we go. Okay, so if you scroll up, first off, if you need like a quick little tour, here's a 3-minute video of giving you the tour of the stand store. But then if you want to check your math skills to see how well you're doing, or just to get an idea where you're at, you can get this free math skills check. All you have to do is just put in your name and your email address. I'm not going to harass you, but at the same time, you can download that for free. Okay, yes, you guys use MathMess. Yep, most of my international students do that as well. All right, so next part, all of these are my digital downloads. So these are my ebooks. If you need physical copies, you want to go all the way down to the list, which I'll show you. But I'm currently going through my summer starter. So sometimes people just need to know where to start. If you want the summer starter, that will be at $42. Now, if you're just like, hey, I just need book number one, well, if you scroll down a little bit further, here's that volume one, and that's at $12.91, and that's at $12.99. Okay, but if we want the summer starter, let me just introduce that for a second. You're going to get not only volume one, you're going to get volume two. Also, you're going to get a practice book. Now, volume two, you're probably like, what's volume two? Well, volume two deals with functions, order of operation. Okay, don't know what that is. All right, can you guys still hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me, if I'm still alive? Okay, thank you, math. All right. I don't know. Something just said there was a disconnection. I don't know. It's about to rain. Thank you all. I know, that's how life is around here. So, not only do you get volume one, you get volume two, and you also get a practice book. So, the practice book is 210 questions that you can use, and it's like they put them into sections of like mini exams. So say this is test number two. So for test number two, you're going to sit down in a room and you're going to sit down and try to work out the problems just like you would do if you're taking the actual test. So after you do your timed assessment, time yourself, because you need to practice the way that you're going to test. So for me, I have 6 full-length questions. Each test has 35 questions, so that's 210 questions. So you will get, for the summer section, you will get volume 1, volume 2, and the practice, all 3 books, for $42. If you want to get the physical books, all of my physical books are mentioned on the A, and the A is, I can put it in the chat. Because some people are like, what's the A? Because I can't say the word because they will shut down the live. Hi. Okay, but you can get it on the A, and each of the books is $25. The reason why, most of these books are thicker than a Snicker, okay? And I use color pages. This is why a lot of people generally, when they do workbooks, they don't like to use color because it's most expensive. So this is when you can get some of the word problems. You can get some of the breakdown, scientific notation. So all of this for the first 3 books is at $42. Okay? But if that's not where you're at, go ahead and stroll. Take a look. Take a look at the store. And if you have any questions, please, before you purchase anything, and I'm going to turn this off and turn it on to me for a second. So before you purchase anything and you have a question, please go to my profile, click on it, and send me a message. Say, hey, Audrey, I'm thinking about taking the GED. This is my first time taking it. And then tell me what you've been doing to prepare for the test. And what do you think is the disconnect? So then we can have a conversation to see which will be the best thing for you. It doesn't always have to be tutoring, because in the books, you're actually going to get me in the videos breaking stuff down just like how I did today. It's the exact same. It's not going to be given to a third person. It's me. This is it. I am the only Audrey Codner basically on the face of this planet. Okay? So if you have questions, ask before you purchase, because I want to make sure that you're getting the results, or basically getting the information that you need so you can get the results that you want. Okay? I'm not here about like, oh yeah, I just want to make some money, No. You want to go into the military. You want to get a better career. You want to get more money from your current career, and you have to take this test. I have the knowledge, and I'm willing to break it down to you. So again, you can just go ahead and send me a message. Tell me what test you're taking. If you're ready to go ahead and purchase, go ahead and purchase. Click on the link in my profile and then take it from there. But if you're not sure, take the free test. It's free. So you have a better idea of where you're at. Okay? Any questions? Okay? Oh, big Al. Any questions? All right. Thorn, thank you so much for the heart. And Sherry, thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate it. All right. Okay, Sin, thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Appreciate you. All right. So I'm going to end the live for today. And like I said, if you want to see the replay and you want to see from the very beginning, you can go to my YT channel. There's Math by Audrey. You can definitely go there, and especially the one that I did this morning is also listed as well. So if you ever want to say, oh, let me look at the replay, you can look at the replay. But do not forget, you need some consistency. You do not want to feel overwhelmed while you're taking this test. You have been in the past trying to pull information from every place and tried to make it fit, and it's not fitting because now you need one person that can do the instruction, talk to you in a way that makes sense. Then you got your practice, then you got your application. That's what's called a system. So that's what my system is all about. If you have any questions, and if you want to, also I have the cards that we were doing today. I have these on my digital listing as well. So any of my cards, any of my resources are there as well. All right. Well, if you have questions, go ahead and reach out. And if anything, I will see you sometime tomorrow. It might be early tomorrow morning, or it might be around, nope, it's not going to be around this time tonight. I'm not sure about tomorrow evening, but definitely I'll be here tomorrow morning. All right, everyone, have a great day. Oh, thank you. Thank you for checking in. Appreciate that. Hey, Lynette. Just about to sign off. All right, everyone, have a great one. Take care.